Alright, so we're going to start removing the bearing and the collar, and like I said, my press isn't big enough to fit this in between it. So normally you would take a tool that goes in here, clasps on it, and then it sticks out, and then you would be, this part of the tool would be hit against your press bar, and then you would press down on the axle, but this is too big to fit through my press. So we're gonna drill out. A little trick is to drill this out with a 1/4 inch drill, and we're going to drill it down 3/4 of an inch, and then we're going to use our edge chisel, and we're just going to hit it, and it's going to split, come right off. We're actually going to have to cut this with the whizzer on an angle, and we'll get the maximum cut by cutting it here, so I can go into the groove here, the plate a little bit, and that'll give me just a little more room for the whizzer wheel to come in on an angle like that. So for now, we're just going to drill this out. It's going to take a little bit to drill this all out. Okay, we're going to try and split this now. Okay, it's coming right off. Okay. All right, and now, like I said, this is going to be time consuming. We're just going to cut this with the whizzer, and it's going to take some time. So we got our axle sitting down here. We're going to just slightly start a cut right here. The reason we're going that way is because we're going to have to hang the wheel into this groove a little bit here, so we can get maximum cut down in here. So we're going to cut this. It's going to take a while. All right, so like I said, our press that we have, we can't fit the hub through it, so we drilled a hole in here, 1/4 inch hole, 3/4 of the way down, and we knocked that off with the edge chisel here. We showed you that already. And now we cut this and split it on both sides. So now we're gonna try and split the bearing off so that we just get to the collar part, which is gonna look like this right here, that just melted to everything that's touching. So that's the inside of the bearing right there, what it's going to look like. And yeah, that's supposed to sit on the metal plate after we're done, but it didn't. All right, so now we're going to try and split this right here, and then the bearings will come apart like this. We're trying to get down to the collar like this. And it started moving with the heat, without the heat, and then it bound up. And then we put a little bit of heat on it, and we worked it with the chisel, just hitting the edge chisel here, and it rolled off. We just had to keep a little heat on it. So we're going to try and split this one right now. Watch our eyes here.
Hey, there it goes.
Hey.
Wow, the other one fought us.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll break these little ball bearings off here.
Two.
Whatever, huh? Okay. All right, so that's passed. So now we're going to put the chisel on the collar here and just try and get the collar to move. And so we're going to just try and hit this right now, and Tony's going to hold the axle, and we'll see if this thing moves. And if it doesn't, we'll just have to put a little chisel on it.
A little heat on it.
We didn't put any juice on it last night. Maybe that's where we went wrong, Tony. So we'll try it tonight. Okay, here we go. Yeah, don't want to move. The other one moved last night. So, all right, we're going to put a little heat on it. getting it a little hot. We're gonna roll it around a little bit. We have to heat it a couple times because it moves a little bit. And I don't really want to get the axle hot. I'm just trying to get a little heat here. And we'll get this thing moving. Ready? That's what we wanted to see.
Nice.
All right, so we're gonna let everything cool down a little bit here. And we're gonna take some sandpaper and we're gonna clean our axle right here and make sure everything's clean. We're gonna put a thin coat of Never-Seez and then we'll show you how we set up the bearing. Now this is where the axle seal rides. You can see the old groove right in here. And we're gonna clean this up as well with some sandpaper, some fine, like, you know, sandpaper, maybe 200 grit or 320 probably. And we'll get this all clean and nice and smooth. It's still hot, we gotta let it cool down. And then we'll get the, we'll slip the bearing on. You always gotta make sure your collar stays on. We'll slip the bearing on and then we'll put our retainer on. And we have to install our seals in the rear, in the rear axle tube right now. So we're gonna probably go over there and do that. And this will cool down and then we'll clean this all up. All right, we sanded down our axle. Now this line is where the old seal used to ride. You really can't feel it. And we sanded everything and cleaned this all up. So we're gonna Never-Seez it. And we have our new bearing and collar that we're gonna slide over. So I only need to Never-Seez this area right here. And I'm just gonna put a fucking real, my French, gonna put a real thin coat on here. And we'll press this. So we're gonna, this assembly's gonna just slide on just like this. We got our bearing that we're gonna slide down. And our plate here is, maybe it's a little crusty. Maybe we're gonna give this thing a little love.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna clean this up a little bit in there and just get this stuff off here and clean this up a little bit on the bench grinder. So Tony cleaned up his plate, so he's gonna sleep better tonight now.
Yeah.
So, all right, so
Steve wanted to throw the rusty, crusty collar on there, and I said, no, let me buff the thing out.
All right, so we're gonna slide that piece down. We've got our axle Never-Seez. We cleaned everything up.
We'll blame
And
him.
we've got our bearing here. We're gonna slide down. We got our collar. Goes down. And I'm just gonna take the punch and the chisel and the hammer, and I'm just gonna try and work this down a little bit. And if it doesn't go, it doesn't matter because we're putting it in the vise. You just don't want the bearing to fall out. Okay, all right. So we're gonna go put this in the vise. Excuse me, put this in the press, and we're gonna press this thing down and until it bottoms out down here. And then we'll know when it's bottom, we'll be able to see our mark. So we got it started and it looks pretty straight. So I'm comfortable with that. And we're gonna get the other axle set up right now to do the same thing so we can do them both at the same time. All right, so we're setting this thing up. We got our press set up. And I'm holding the collar with my finger. I can't let it drop down. And I gotta slide this other one underneath here. Okay, so we got that tight. And this is gonna slide up to here, and we're gonna press the bearing right down. So as it gets closer, we'll just line this thing up here. Don't forget to put your plate on. Okay, I'll start pressing it down.
Stopped.
I'm at the end of my run here. All right, we ran out of room, so we got a socket on here now.
Pretty soon we'll have a cinder block on top of the socket.
I hope not.
There she goes. So we readjusted the plate and get rid of our pile of shit on top of the on top of the hub.
The axle so long, it was getting ready to hit the bottom.
Yeah, I was getting ready to hit the bottom, so it's going in there.
That's all she wrote. You look, we're hitting down here.
Yep,
That's it.
that's it.
Just greasing up the axle where the seal's gonna ride. Make sure that it seats nice.
We're just using regular bearing grease.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, and we got this side all ready to go. We have our center here. Everything, this is all greased in here. So, we'll put a little on our...
Yeah, you don't want to drag the axle onto a dry rubber
Yeah,
seal
right.
because it'll damage it.
Sure will. A lot of work to get in there to get this seal out, so.
Kidding.
So there's a drain here on the bottom, so when the wheel seal lets go, eventually the oil will leak past this down there, it won't leak on the top. So this is on the bottom side here. And we've got our axle, we've given it a good inspection. This is our left side. I'm gonna try and hold the axle up as long as I can to get it into the tube. Let me line up my plate here. And that's it. We're gonna give this plate we're gonna tighten this plate up a little bit. Yeah, it's bottom. It's
There
in.
you go.
It's already in. I figured I might just give this a little smack with the hammer, but it feels like it's in. So
Yep.
the plate's covering. So all right, so we're good.